Hi guys, in this video we are going to discuss about the what is the difference between the functional programming and object oriented programming in Java. Okay, so object oriented programming and functional programming are two different models. Okay, both are the different models. Java is primarily an object oriented programming language, but starting with Java 8 it has incorporated with the functional programming features also. What it means exactly? So let's take in up to Java 7. Java is completely object-oriented programming language. That means up to Java 7, up to Java 7, up to Java 7, it is only supported with object-oriented programming only. But after Java 8, we have some of the features. Those are functional interface, lambda expression, and then method references. By using this, we can able to write the functional programming in Java also. Okay. So what exactly meaning of the functional programming and what exactly meaning of the object oriented programming? So that we need to understand first. Okay. Now I started a series with Java 8. On the Java 8, so I completed the concept of the functional interface. So why functional interface got introduced in Java 8? So why? Because we are going to achieve the functional programming in Java from the Java 8 onwards. Okay. So I mean, so we are able to achieve the functional programming in Java. That means, first of all, we need to understand what is the functional programming, right? Okay, before going to the functional programming, first we need to understand what is the object-oriented programming. So once you understand the object-oriented programming, then it will be easy to understand the functional programming. Okay, in this video, we are going to cover the object-oriented programming. Okay, in the next video we will discuss about the functional programming, and later we will going to compare the functional programming and object oriented programming. So on what is the uses and what is the benefits and what is the pros and cons, everything will be discussed on the later. Okay, now let's coming to the today's topic. So now object oriented programming language. Okay, object oriented programming is a one of the programming style that uses the concepts of the objects. Okay, it will use the concept of the object to design and build the software. That means if you are building any application, okay, the application completely depends on the objects only. Okay, let's an example. So now you are preparing a one vehicle related application. So that means you are going to collect the all the vehicle information. For this purpose we are going to create one vehicle related class. That class itself, it is going to contains the vehicle model, number, chassis number, like that what information it is going to contain. So if you want to use this class, you have to create the instance. Okay, so object oriented programming completely uses the objects to design any application. So what is the object? The object represent real world entities like car, animals, employees. Based on your application, if you are building any application for automobile industries, so we are going to use the real-time entities like cars, bus, like that. So if it is health or forest department, it is like animals or employees, like that. Based on the your application model, you are going to use the real world entities. Okay. So object-oriented programming helps make programmer more modular, easier to maintain, and more efficient by organizing the data and behavior into reusable structure. So if you follow the object-oriented programming language, so if you are developing anything by using this type of language, Java is object-oriented programming language, but it is not come 100% object-oriented programming language. So if you want to say any language is 100% object oriented programming language, definitely it should be work with objects on. But in case of the Java, it's supporting the primitive data types also. That's why we cannot say Java is 100% object oriented programming language, but by using Java we are going to write the object oriented programming only. Okay, so if you want to say, if you want to write object-oriented programming, then you need to follow the four principles. What are the four principles you are supposed to follow? One is the encapsulation, inheritance, polymorphism, and abstraction. Okay, let's get into the topic one by one. So, what is encapsulation? If a language allows, okay, if a language allows building of data methods in objects and restricts access to objects data directly, it's it supports encapsulation. For example, Java provides access modifier like private, public, and product to achieve this. So that means encapsulation means, so now, okay, let me create one class. Okay, first of before creating, let me can we can discuss this point first. So encapsulation means now you are going to create one real world entity like car entity. So car number on car model on car chassis number. This is the variable we are going to create. So this variable we are going to provide the methods. Okay. Now, if anybody want to access this car model, we are not going to allow the user to access the variable directly to the variable. For that purpose, we are going to provide the methods, get a certain methods for the respective variable. If we want to access that variables, we are going to call the setter and getter methods. And second one is inheritance. So inheritance means if you a language must support the ability to create new classes from existing ones. Inheritance methods and attributes from parent class, this allows for code reuse and establishing the inherit hierarchies. That means, like let's say an example. I have one some of the properties. Those are the properties is going to common for the remaining some of the classes. That means I have one parent class. That parent class I'm going to it contains some default data. Okay, some default data. So the data I want to use in the some other classes. That time instead of the creating the variables multiple times, we are going to use the inheritance concept to get the futures from parent to child. Okay. The next one is a polymorphism. The language should support method overloading and method overriding, allowing objects of the different classes to treat as a instance of the same class, but still have different behavior. That means we have definition. Okay, so we are going to have the definition, but based on the situation, we are going to provide the different type of the implementation. So that means overriding. Okay, based on situation, we can able to change the implementation for this respect to definition. So that we can call as a polymorphism. Abstraction. Abstraction. Language should allow hiding the internal details of the object and exposing only essential features. Typically, through abstract classes and interfaces, we can achieve this one. So abstraction means now. So if you are providing the implementation for the multiple methods, but it is not required or not necessary to expose this your implementation to outside. For that purpose, you are going to give the only method name only. So through the interfaces, they simply call their interface methods, and to execute that respective logic. They won't worry about the what internal implementation we implement for this respective method. Okay, so these are the four principles we have in OOPS. Okay, if you follow these four principles while developing your application, then we can call the type of programming as a object oriented programming. Okay, if a programming language follow the four key principles, what are the key principles here? Encapsulation, inheritance, polymorphism, and abstraction. So if you follow these four principles, then we can consider an object-oriented programming language. And that means it is object-oriented programming. Okay. In the next video, we'll discuss about the what is the functional programming.